Western North Carolina's tourism industry took a huge hit after Helene, an industry that pumps billions of dollars into the region every year.
It is tremendously lower than last year.
Are you worried?
I am a little bit worried.
The recovery has been slow but sure.
I'm scrappy. I'm tenacious, and I'm gonna fight for it.
And like the baseball team called the tourists, businesses relying on tourism look to rally. And they want everyone to know they're open for business.
Welcome to our News 13 Town Hall. I'm Holly Hedrick.
And I'm Patrick Hushin. Tourism is a major driver for the mountains, of course, and some of the impacts seen so far this year, short-term rentals occupancy down 33%, according to the reports we're seeing, and guest check-ins down 43%, but North Carolina's tourism economy did not waver in the headwinds of Helene.
Statewide, 2024 set a record. Travelers spent more than $36.7 billion. Still, Helene hit at the heart of Western North Carolina's rush of visitors. News 13's Jennifer Emmert digs into the impacts and the recovery.
Asheville is open. We're ready to welcome visitors.
It's the message Explore Asheville is shouting from mountaintops for good reason.
Travel and hospitality generates nearly $3 billion in annual spending. It sustains jobs for nearly 30,000 of our neighbors.
Visitor-generated taxes save your wallet $2,600 annually.
It also supports about 20% of our county and city tax revenues.
In some respects, we've bounced back from Helene quicker than expected. Hotel demand in March was flat, with demand on par with 2023.
We had very little hotel damage. Where someplace like Fort Myers in Florida is still reeling from the number of hotel rooms that came out of inventory.
But vacation rental demand plummeted 28% year over year. Destinations facing hurricane recovery can see visitor spending take a year to return, but marketing and messaging can accelerate it.
I see progress being made in our community every day.
From Allegiant influencer partnerships with millions of impressions to date night hotel promotions, all reminding visitors this region's charm remains.
Visitors come here for our natural beauty. They come here for our food culture, our live music scene, our creative culture in art galleries and retail shops. Those are all reasons people come here.
All right, they also come here for the Biltmore Estate, the amazing outdoor recreation, and of course unique accommodations. And that brings us to our panel of guests to talk about the crucial role that tourism plays in our day-to-day lives.
So let's introduce everyone from left to right. We have Aubrey Anderson, CEO of Zen Tubing, Shelton Steele, co-owner of Wrong Way River Lodge and Cabins,
and Chase Pickering, Vice President of Biltmore House Guest Experience and Operations. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Aubrey, we want to start with you. You at Zen Tubing, you guys just reopened, a grand reopening last week. That was a big deal. The summer is here. Folks are back on the river. What does a big summer mean to you personally, to your staff, and for your overall business?
We were so excited to be able to open this weekend and had a very successful weekend. People are wanting to come here. They're wanting to get back on the river. They're wanting to recreate. They're wanting to do things in Asheville.
Yes.
And they're surprised how wonderful it looks here, that we're ready for folks to come back and we're ready for them to recreate on the river.
Yeah. So you're hopeful, and again, a big summer would mean a lot, right?
Absolutely, yes. A big summer
Helene.
means a lot. We face some challenges, but we do have bookings. People are wanting to come back, so it's very good to hear.
Good.
And speaking of coming back, Biltmore Estate, Chase, how much pressure did you guys feel to really be one of the first to reopen and get people here, since you are such an amazing draw for this area?
It was so important to my family. I'm one of the 5th generation family owners of Biltmore, and we felt it was part of what we've done now for generations to get back open. And we were able to do that 5 weeks after the storm on November 2nd. And now that we've been open several months, we are hearing so many positive comments from our guests. They're remarking on how beautiful the whole region is, how beautiful Biltmore is, the hospitality of our people, and they are just so excited to be here, and they know that their visit is helping lift up this entire region right now.
How did you reopen so quickly?
We have the best team in the world, and it's because of our employees who were there. They are my inspiration. It is just amazing how many of them were there with us during the storm, and then have been with us all through the recovery period to make sure that we could reopen quickly and safely and welcome guests back. And they have done an incredible job with that. We also are grateful to the local and state authorities who were very helpful in helping navigate the reopening of the whole region. And so it's just a great feeling to be welcoming people back and hearing that great comment, the great comments that we're seeing from our guests.
Yeah, certainly a beacon for the tourism industry here in this area. Shelton, Wrong-Way Campground is off and running again.
Right.
You know, you guys, your social media is out there. You guys are always showing what a family environment you guys have, a lot of camaraderie. What are you hearing? And I would imagine folks are coming back to you because they just love coming back to you guys. What are you hearing from folks that are going to visit in the future or who have visited since Helene in terms of, you know, what are they saying? How are they supporting you? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we do a lot of group business. So we had a lot of group bookings that were unable to come in October because we were closed for the whole month of October, and they were able to come back this year. And so that helped our bottom line a lot. And we've got people coming back as an act of support, you know, that they know that they want to be a part of Asheville's recovery, and by coming and staying with us, eating at restaurants, visiting the Biltmore Estate, getting on the river, you know, they're able to help stand our community back up.
Right, they understand that some of the damage that's been done, but they're here no matter what, right?
Yeah, and I think what they're finding is an Asheville that's vibrant, that's putting itself back together,
Yes.
and that is very welcoming and, you know, grateful for the support.
And we wanted to include some questions from you, the viewers.
News 13's Charles Perez talked with a few of our viewers, and here's what one of them wanted to ask our panel.
Let's start it off with this question from Chris from Silva.
I'm wondering, with all the ecotourism in the area, is there enough that's been recovered to bring folks back to Western North Carolina?
It gets back to what we were talking about. And Shelton, I'm going to stick with you just real quick because, and Aubrey, you know, the ecotourism, the rivers, the forests, this protected lands, you know, a lot of that was damaged. Do you feel that the bounce back is there? The pool for these outdoor recreation folks is there no matter what damage was done? Aubrey, do you feel folks are headed back to the river?
Definitely, and we've had people as well that have been coming for years. So we've been open since 2012, and folks come every year. So they're coming back and they're supporting us. We made the decision not to open one of our locations, and because we wanted to see that area recover a little more, but the area that we are floating, no one can really tell any difference in that area. So it's a great float, and people are enjoying it. They're coming back year after year, and this year they're coming back and they're showing that support.
Yeah.
A lot of kayakers, a lot of boaters. I know a lot of them are hanging out at Wrong-Way.
Yeah, I grew up kayaking in Western North Carolina, and one of my mentors after the storm had a phrase that stuck with me, which is that rivers are self-cleaning organisms. It's all washing downstream. So what you see is a river that's really clean. You know, like Chase was saying, the government's been here cleaning up the riverbank, so a lot of the debris out of the way. And so for Wrong-Way, I think now it's that mission of reconnecting people with the urban outdoors. So that's our greenways, the river, and then all the activities in the surrounding area. And it's all pretty vibrant.
And Aubrey, you said that you chose not to reopen one of your locations.
Yes.
So to all of you, have your business plans changed at all since Helene as to how you're having to pivot to bring people back?
Yes, so we're 50% down because of having one location closed. And we made that decision early on because it takes a while in the off season to get prepared for the season. And we wanted to be able to offer guests a quality float, something that they can enjoy, they feel safe and they feel good. Plus we wanted to be able to be mindful of the environment and the riverbanks in the River Arts District and the delicate ecosystems. So we want to just give that a little bit of time and make sure that those things are thriving and coming back and being responsible in that sense for the river. But we definitely had to pivot a little. We had to make some changes. We feel good about those changes, and I think the public feels good about that too. Our guests understand, yes, we may not be able to do this section, but we can do this other section.
And Chase, the marketing strategy at Biltmore Estate. I mean, it's quite the undertaking on any given day. You guys are, a major draw. What were those conversations like after the storm?
So getting open was mission number one, and now today we are looking at some significant investments in marketing and advertising across core markets. And we hope that in collaboration with Explore Asheville and also Biltmore's marketing investments, that we're going to start seeing some lift and positive impacts from that. You know, the beautiful thing about Biltmore Estate is our core experience is all still there and open. And the experience that our guests have come to love and enjoy over the years, it's there. We were very fortunate that the house and the historic gardens were very minimally damaged. And so they're beautiful as they've always been. And then we've been able to reopen our trails and a lot of our areas that people enjoy biking and hiking through. We've also reopened our horseback riding and carriage rides programs. So there's so much activity. Plus, we've got our new King Tutankhamun exhibition going on right now, which we felt was really important to bring online at this point to give people a new reason to come to Biltmore. And our guests are just raving about this wonderful exhibition that takes people virtually over to Egypt.
Wow. It's beautiful. Explore Asheville, obviously pushing the messaging, Asheville is open. Open for business is this town hall. So Shelton, you know, how important is that messaging? I mean, just to make sure that people know, is that word out there enough?
It can always be out there more, Patrick. Let's say it that way. You know, just encouraging people to come have fun in our town, right? We're not asking for handouts. We're saying just come stay in a hotel, you know, get on the river, eat at one of our restaurants, and enjoy the mountain town and, you know, all the resources that we know and hold dearly. And we just want to share that with folks. And I think, you know, it's important to understand that right now is that moment. You can really make an impact.
All right, we'll continue this conversation when we return.
It might have been one of the most hard-hit tourist attractions in western North Carolina. The popular Blue Ridge Parkway brings in millions.
The parkway itself was hit by at least 57 known landslides. And I say known because we're still assessing damages.
Next, News 13's Jennifer Emmert with details on the impact of Helene on tourism traffic, plus more with our panel when we come back.
The Blue Ridge Parkway draws tens of millions of tourists annually into 12 mountain counties.
Helene upended visitor plans at the height of the season, crippling economic activity. News 13's Jennifer Emmert exposes the impact.
We're taking a huge leap of faith.
But then Catherine Adams and Haley Jelenic know a thing or two about grit.
It was based off of the amount of traffic we were seeing in Asheville.
Tourism traffic transparent enough to warrant their own gallery when Helene shattered plans.
When so much of everything that you know and love in a city is like wiped away in an instance, it gives you a lot of pause.
Both were selling in the Rad and Southern Highland Craft Guild shops in Biltmore Village and the Parkway when Helene drowned those revenue streams.
There are definitely spots that a lot of tourists go to, a lot of people go to, that will kind of seek out those specific galleries.
That was definitely, we all kind of held each other a little bit tighter and we're like, we'll get through this.
By November, the Folk Arts Center reopened, but the 16.7 million annual visitors that funnel $1.4 billion into communities near the Parkway evaporated.
We rely on October to get us through the slower months.
The barriers just beyond the Folk Arts Center brought previously climbing visitor numbers on America's favorite drive to a screeching halt.
The parkway itself was hit by at least 57 known landslides. And I say known because we're still assessing damages.
157 miles of the Blue Ridge Parkway today remain cut off from tourists. To the west, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park is also impacted by trail closures. They'll bait visitors with upcoming synchronous firefly viewing that could have as many as 6,700 buzzing through the park at the end of May.
There are exciting things to do, and I think the messaging that there's lots of damage, it's true, but we have it before, and there are lots of things to do, and I want people to include the Parkway in their planning for an exciting season.
Haley and Catherine are counting on it, stocking new inventory in the Craft Guild's Folk Arts Center.
That's always exciting, getting an order from them and getting to fulfill that and drop it off.
And opening Nice Time Glass on Haywood Road, albeit nearly 8 months after they planned. Hopeful they, along with the other 19,000 jobs that rely on the Parkway's beauty, will see it driving economic growth again.
We believe in what we do. We believe in art. We believe in making beautiful things that help beautified people's lives.
If you download the National Park Service app, it'll give you a list of areas still impacted by Helene. On the Blue Ridge Parkway, I'm Jennifer Emmert.
All right, so since Helene, of course, we've reported extensively on hands helping others, people helping people, businesses helping other businesses. So the importance of collaboration. I want to start with you, Audrey, or Aubrey rather. How important is collaboration for Zen Tubing and from other businesses?
We initiated this season that we wanted to do an affiliate program. And so we've been reaching out to small businesses, independent businesses, to collaborate together. So we share links to their business on our website. We focus on them on our social media. That way, even though we're a small business, when we collaborate together, we make a pretty big footprint.
And Shelton, I've seen you guys came together with a company, it was a barbecue joint, right?
Right, the Chop Shop Butchery.
Yes, the Chop Shop,
Yeah,
yes.
we did a neighborhood dinner, kind of a week into the storm, and it was a pop-up. It was free, and it's in my neighborhood because my neighborhood is east-west Asheville that adjoins kind of the river corridor, and we were able to feed about 150 people.
Wow, that's awesome.
And Chase, obviously, most people in the area, business owners, probably want to collaborate with you guys. Talk to us about how many community partnerships you have, and has that increased since Helene?
It most certainly has. 7 days after the storm, my family announced a $2 million commitment to establish the Biltmore Relief Fund for Western North Carolina that would go towards direct recovery efforts for nonprofits, as well as support our employees that have been impacted by the storm. And that was very important to us, that we could get that money quickly out to those who were having the biggest impact and those who were impacted the most. We continue to see incredible collaborations happening with Biltmore employees engaged in that work, everything from lending a hand to our neighbors down in Biltmore Village and the All Souls Cathedral to helping clean up Biltmore Village as a whole and the surrounding river area. So a lot of progress has been made, and that's the exciting part of it.
Is there anything else that could be done, any more that can be done to bring folks together even more? Have you had any conversations with some companies that you may be getting together with, or anything like that? Anything you can tell us about?
There's my business partner Joe is involved in a group called the Unified Rad. You can check them out at unifiedrad.com, and they're visioning for the River Arts District. There is the tragedy, and there's also the rebuilding component. And in rebuilding, you get to reimagine. And so they've got a pretty strong group of people put together to kind of reimagine what the River Arts could look like in the future.
All right, we want to get to another one of our viewer questions.
All right.
Jared from Asheville sent in a question to News 13. He wants to know more about the hospitality industry.
As we know, hotels and restaurants are such a major part of the economy here in Asheville. What is the city doing to help support restaurants who rely so much on tourism in these months of the summer and the fall?
All right, we took this question to Vic Isley with Explore Asheville. She says, according to tourism economics, the average economic recovery timeline for destinations is usually 12 to 14 months. Working together with partners across the community and region, we're doing our best to buck that trend.
Right. Shelton, we were talking about hospitality there. You guys are in that business.
Yeah.
12 to 14 months, there's a waiting period. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're seeing, where our business is increasing month over month, but we don't expect there to be a full return to baseline until 2026. So that means we've got some cabins available. So you're welcome to come on up and stay with us.
Chase?
So our business at Biltmore for the past 6 weeks has been down about 30% of where we typically are this time of year. When we reopened in November, we were down 70% from where we typically would be. So you can see that there have been tremendous strides. And so every week we are seeing momentum in the right direction. And I think all of us, all the small businesses, everyone in part of this community needs to be a part of that forward momentum that we have, inviting people to come be a part of this comeback of Asheville and the greater region.
And that brings me to this question. So each one of you, in one or two sentences, for people who may be watching this live stream, people on YouTube, maybe not be from this area, in one or two sentences, what do you say to the people who might be on the fence about whether we're going to come to Asheville this summer? Chase, we'll start with you and go that way.
Okay. My family, we've been here now for 5 generations, and I am just so inspired by the spirit of Asheville. The people that are here, the beauty of this place is still intact, and it is inviting people to come back and be a part of this rebound and regrowth of Asheville.
Yeah, I think you've heard all three of us say, everyone's worked hard. Neighborhoods have worked hard. Every person who lives in Asheville has worked to kind of help stand up this town, and we just want to invite folks back to enjoy this place that we call home.
I just say, come visit Asheville, the heart of Western North Carolina. We have beautiful outdoors, we have independent businesses, and when they come together, it's a truly magical experience.
And I'm curious, the French Broad is such a major part of our tourism draw. To both of you specifically, has your relationship with the French Broad River changed?
Rivers are free. That's a free-flowing river, and nature does its own thing. So I have a lot of reverence for it. I definitely look at our cabins sitting anywhere from 10 to 18 feet off the ground, and the floodwaters got up pretty high. So I look at that a little bit differently now. But it's the same beautiful, tranquil river, 99.9% of the time, and so I love it no matter what.
Right. I agree. I think that it's a beautiful river. It's resilient. It's definitely a place for people to come and enjoy.
And you are all rebounding fairly well, it seems like. What do you say to the other business owners out there who may be struggling? Is there another way to help them? And what else do we need?
I would say that, lean on the resources that are out there. And, there are many different nonprofits out there. Explore Asheville has tremendous resources for local small independent businesses. And, talk to your friends about it and invite your friends, who are all across the country to come be a part of this Asheville story.
Yeah, I just got an email on the way in. We secured one of the SBA disaster loans. So, there is money out there. It takes a little bit of work, but, there are mechanisms to help support small businesses. And then, we're all here to help one another. So I think that's what makes our mountain community so strong.
I think that's important too. There is still money out there.
Yep.
It's not over.
Nope.
Yes, I would just say be patient and give yourself a little pat on the back because you've been through a lot.
Yes.
We all have been through quite a bit. But we're going to come back, and we are coming back. We just need to take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the key here is patience?
Patience and one day at a time, yes.
Yeah.
And we mentioned collaboration, hopefully, at some point, if you guys haven't already collaborated in some shape, form, or fashion, that may happen, from this day forward, just coming here today.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely.
It's crucial.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for watching this News 13 Town Hall Special. Your voice, your future, open for business.
News 13 at 6 is up next.